All right, welcome back to the Dallas Fort Worth Entrepreneur Mastermind Podcast, brought to you by Work Suites, where we film once a week, and we love it here. Thank you very much. If you are looking for a place that you can work out of, even if it's infrequently, they have great affordable options. And today, our guest is Nathan Ortiz. I call him a friend, but he's pretty hard to get to be friends with. And he is our first repeat guest.
Honored repeat guest. Good.
So, if you haven't heard, that actually wasn't the worst audio podcast that I had in the past.
Really? Okay.
But it was recorded in your brother's office.
Yes.
On a microphone that was not ideal for any of that.
Yeah. And you put the microphones like 5 feet away.
Right.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yep. And this was before COVID, right? And before Zoom calls. And if I remember correctly, I think you were wearing a really nice shirt. And then just boxers and flip-flops.
Right. Yeah.
And this was before COVID, so I couldn't figure that out.
That's just what I showed up.
Yeah.
Well, I was on a roofing job.
Oh, okay. So. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So you have, I guess, catch us up real quick because I know we've already had your whole story on this podcast. But where did you start? What are you doing now?
So so I quit. I mean, kind of, right? You know, we had that whole conversation about goals and everything, and then you know, last year happened. And it really kind of changed my path and made me accelerate it, quicker than I thought I was going to. So I haven't really quit. I'm still with customer remodeling, but I've started my own business as a public insurance adjuster, Bravura claims negotiations, and really the big part of that is just answering the question, what the hell is a public insurance adjuster? Mm-hmm. Because not very many people know what it is. You know what it is because you've been exposed to that industry. But really my goal is to help business owners, homeowners who are going through tough, difficult claims and unreasonable claims departments and step in and really negotiate and advocate for them so that they can get the settlement that they deserve.
Right. And you're perfect for this situation because you're not starting out just as a public insurance adjuster, right? Because you've had that experience as a contractor, and seeing how difficult it is unless you have the right licensing to work with an insurance
carrier.
Correct, yeah. Right.
Yeah, so of course, you have to be licensed to be a public insurance adjuster. And even on the contractor side, there's things that you can do, but it's kind of gray area, and there are things that you absolutely can't do. But it happens all the time. And so that was the big struggle, is how to stay within the bounds of the law and still help my customers. So in this aspect of it, I can really take it to a new level and not have to really worry about the restrictions that were put on me as a contractor.
Right.
So, yeah.
So do you see your contractor career fading into the rear view, or do you still see...
Yeah. No, I do want to change it, though. I don't want to do remodels. But that's just my personal, I guess, feelings and what I want to do, right?
Right.
I really want to go more into the government contracting side of it and actually even get away from insurance work. Because I can still do contracting work on insurance claims. I just can't do both, right? So I really want to go into government contracting and push that business and be successful there so that I'm not always dependent on, ice balls falling from the sky. So,
right.
Yeah.
Which, even though it's regular here, you can't always count on it. And there could be a year or 2 years, 3 years even, where there's not a lot of new damage. And then you're doing remodels again.
Yeah. Yeah, and remodels are really fun to get to know all the details that go into a job, right? Because when you're, even like an insurance adjuster, when you see a leak in a shower, and you're like, okay, well, replace and remove shower. Well, that's not how it works. I mean, when you pull it out, there's so much stuff that you find, and then on the remodel side, there's no safety net. There's not we found this extra damage, now send it into the insurance company.
Get added to
the scope of work. It's, now you got to actually go talk to the homeowner about giving you more money, or if it's something that you miss, if you're going to stand up to, your mistake too. So it's a whole different beast. But it made me learn, that, hey, there's things that we took for granted on the insurance side that, as far as documenting, estimating, contracts, change orders, all that stuff that I took, I didn't really think of because there was always that, well, if I mess up, somebody here to save me. And so I think that's where a lot of contractors go wrong, is that not taking those small details and making sure they put it into their process, regardless of if it's going to be a big financial impact on them, because it makes your life so much easier as a contractor to take those details seriously.
Yeah. So, do you feel as if you have more of a passion for the PA side of things, or do you feel like you had more of a passion as a contractor?
Um, I think, well, I would say probably more of a passion for the PA side, and
Okay.
it's not because I really enjoyed the estimating side of it and learning and doing it. I just didn't necessarily enjoy the day to day management of a construction site.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where I can still do what I really like, and it's not like I don't have a passion for construction anymore. It's just the stuff I like to do is this kind of work.
So you don't like chasing around subcontractors and
yeah. Sitting outside for they told me to be there at noon on a Saturday and don't show up till 3. Yeah, those fun
you
times.
just sit in your truck.
Yeah.
Gone to Starbucks 5 times.
Yeah. And sometimes that stuff happens, but it's just it was partly that. It was just but this is kind of what I like to do, and I know I'm good at it. So it's okay. How can I better serve people? In what role am I better serving you at? And right now, I think it's the PA side for most projects.
Right. So, what's the PA competition like in Dallas? Do you feel like you're stepping into a pretty full arena? Like if you're going to be a roofer, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
oh yeah. I mean,
there's about 700,000 roofers
yeah.
in DFW, as far as I know. Is it the same for PAs?
No, I don't think so. Just because I think even in the state of Texas, I mean, there's not very many licensed public adjusters. But I think what you do have is a little bit of because right now the biggest referral sources I'll have starting off are going to be contractors, anybody involved in the insurance restoration business.
Mm-hmm.
But their past experience with PAs haven't always, the public adjusters hasn't always, hasn't always been good.
Case, yeah.
So and then there's also the when does it make sense to bring in a public adjuster, what type of claim, things like that. So I think it's a little bit different. I think having to reach out to people in different ways, even though there's not as much competition. I do think there's a lot of bad vibes between the different parts of the industry. When if everybody works together, then you're going to raise the level of ethics and everything.
And I've always felt like this divide is intentional in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Without pointing fingers, that I think there's one party that really likes to make claims difficult and complicated and take a long time to get done.
Yeah.
And on the PA side, I was never impressed.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest issues were there's almost no accountability.
Yeah.
How do you stack up two PAs? How do you see if one's better than another? The second is just really basic communication skills.
Yeah.
I don't know if they don't know what email is or they have a safe that they keep their laptop in and just pull it out 1 hour a week. But it's atrocious. So, when you mentioned you were going to move over to PA, I was really excited for you because I know that just in the fundamentals of being a good business person, you would stand out. Let alone how much you were able to succeed as a contractor.
Yeah.
So both of those are impressive, but what else is it that you can bring to the table to help homeowners maybe, I don't know, reinvent that PA role a little bit?
Yeah, so I think what you're kind of asking, okay, what can you do differently, right, to really help out?
I'm great at asking questions.
Yeah. I mean, you've been working on it, so you've improved since the last time we met. So it's very impressive. Good job.
How you work? How is your work? You work good.
Well, I think what you have is that in my opinion, I think a lot of people like to protect information and the knowledge they have.
Right.
And I've never really been that way. Even with other contractors, I mean, I might not go out my way to teach you my processes and my systems, but if we're talking, I don't have any problem sharing with you what I did to get it done, whether or not you're with a complete different company or not. It's because that doesn't affect me. Knowing how some information that I know as well doesn't mean you can do it as good as me, but it also there's so much work out there that it's not going to. I mean, you're not. If you share that with the information so they can help their customers, it's not actually going to cost you, right? It's not going to take your market share or whatever, in my opinion. But I do think you have a lot of that kind of guarding of that knowledge and saying, hey, we want to make sure as public adjusters that you contractors don't, step into our lane in any way, shape, or form to help your customers. And then also on then you call them and you ask them, hey, I got this claim. Can you help me out on? Well, is it over $50,000? No, sorry, can't help you. But but then where's the homeowner? Where's the business owner? The ones actually going through the claim. Who do they have to help them? And so that's really what I want to do. I want to build the systems and processes so where these smaller claims that maybe not make financial sense for a traditional public adjuster to take on, I can handle them, and then as I grow, still handle those claims and not neglect them. And I think you can do that with just certain processes, certain products and services. Automation, right? To make things easier for everybody involved. To try to make it go quicker. But, sometimes you can't. I mean, you have, there's a certain amount of time an insurance company can take to respond. And if they feel like taking that time, they're going to take it.
Right.
But
there's only so many follow-up emails you can send.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, but it doesn't take much just when you sign up, small things like, say, okay, sign up a customer, set up a team chat, whether it be through, Slack or, I don't know what, how you're, maybe that'll help you, right? Get a sponsor, but, whatever it is, Microsoft Teams, and you just set it up and say, hey, look, this is where we're going to share all the information. If you have anything to give me, any files I request, upload it through here. When I get stuff, I'm going to upload it, and then and keep that open line of communication. And that's a communication problem, and it's very simple to do, but it's just a matter of having somebody a business that wants to build that into their systems and processes so that you don't get the very basic complaint of, well, I haven't heard from my public adjuster in a month. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, that lost me my largest job.
Yeah.
Yeah, the largest job I would have had.
Yeah.
Just not getting emails,
yeah.
which is insane. I mean, I know you're going to be on top of that. A lot of the resources that you're talking about, you were in the process of sort of building when you were a contractor. And I am the perfect example of someone you told exactly how to do it who could not achieve the same results as you because, whatever it is, I couldn't quite fill the gap.
Yeah.
Even though I knew and used the same systems you would use, you always had far better results.
Yeah. That's why I don't mind sharing because,
Yeah, because, hey, most monkeys can't use this.
Yeah.
Give a monkey a wrench, what is he going to do?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So when does it make sense to involve a PA? So if you're trying to open up and be accessible on smaller claims, does that mean anytime, someone has a water leak in their house, do they call you? How would they work with you?
Yeah, well, so I mean, you can call me anytime, and sometimes it's not necessarily, hey, where if I talk with a homeowner or a business owner or even a contractor, it might not even say, hey, look, I don't think you need a PA in this situation. Here's some basic information that you might be able to take and do it yourself and get your problem resolved without having to take that step. So that's kind of one thing too. I always want to be available. So where I actually have it set up through my website where you can schedule these on the virtual consultations, and at that point I can tell you, hey, yeah, this makes sense or not once I have the information. But a lot of times it's going to be denied claims,
right.
Large cost differences between the contractor's estimate and the insurance company's estimate. Certain claims like fires, a lot of times the smoke is what does most of the damage,
right.
And that's the hardest to find.
Right.
So claims that are going to involve people leaving their homes or businesses for an extended period of time, those usually always make sense. But it can really just depend, and that's why you just talk it over. I mean, for example, it's actually on the one of the Facebook forums I'm a part of. Different story, but it's a good one too. A homeowner found their way onto the forum and was like asking a question, and of course, a whole 10 different answers came, and most of them are wrong, and then they shut them down, they because it's not really it's not a homeowner forum to come and ask, but I saw it and I just shot him a message and said, hey, I think I have some information that can help. It was about general contractors overhead and profit. And he's asking about that, if a homeowner or how that works, if he was his own GC. And so, look, I think I have some information that might be able to help you. And I shot him my email. He responded. And it turns out he's a district manager, regional manager for a organization that I won't say the name, but it's like if you do bad, you're going to get a rating on this, right? So, as a company, right? Somebody's going to go into this organization and complain to you. And I just shot them the basic information that I probably shared with you a million times, the TDI, the Texas Department of Insurance bulletins on it.
White pages or whatever.
Yeah, and I just said, hey, here's the basic information, here's a summary of what it says, do with it as you wish. And he emailed me back and he's like, hey, thank you for that. And it was just after his adjuster told him, hey, this isn't warranted, it was a slab leak claim, and he's like having to tear into the flooring and cabinets and all this work, and it's like, no, you can't have a general contractor. But just one email, and it was like done.
Done.
Yeah, and that's all he needed. He just needed a little bit of information, and it's not like it's not publicly available information. It's just I can quickly find it, and a lot of the stuff I already have written up just because I don't rewrite every templates and whatever. So
yeah,
it takes like 5 minutes for me to share it, and then now I have them on LinkedIn. And I'm putting my information out there, and as far as my process and what I'm trying to do, and he's sitting there commenting on my stuff. Great advice, and and his opinion in that realm is going to hold weight just because of what he does.
Yeah.
And and it took some of my time, but it gave him a solution that probably nobody else was really willing to give him.
Right. Yeah, and we solve problems like that all the time in the land business.
Yeah.
People that are in tough situations, and whether I can actually buy the property or not, I give them a lot of good title advice or whatever on how to get their way out of it.
Oh yeah, and that's the best thing. You can still be the hero of the story, but you don't. If it's not right for you, it's not right. And so you're not. I made that mistake too many times where I was trying to do everything for everyone, and I wasn't set up to do it well, or thought I could do it, and then it's. Sounds really fun then, but when you start, it's taken away from your core business, so it's naturally going to be a distraction for you, and you just don't deliver on what you should.
Right.
And I learned a long time ago, hey, give it to the people who want to deliver on this type of business, and let them do their thing, and then your customer is happy, the person you referred it to is happy, you still look like you're still doing good by your customers or potential clients, and they're going to remember that going down the road.
Yeah, because you've already been as successful as anyone I know gaining referral business.
Yeah.
I think you'll probably just be able to ride on that this whole career. I mean, honestly, it's probably going to move like that for you.
Yeah, so, so I went through and I did the numbers, and my past 30 jobs, 80% were referred to me on the construction side. And of those 80% of referrals, 46% were actually from insurance agents.
Yeah.
So where a lot of contractors were like, oh, I hate the insurance companies. And I worked really well with the insurance agents, even though I didn't compromise on the value I was delivering to the actual customer.
You didn't send lower.
Correct. Yeah, I didn't just do crap work and say, hey, look, we're gonna just take what we can get and we'll just have to make it work. No, it's like, hey, we're going to do the best job we can. Here's all the just go through my whole process.
Right.
But a lot of insurance agents really value that because, I don't know if you know, I think you do, but the insurance agents are commission structures and things like that.
Yeah.
That first sale of a policy doesn't really, it means a lot to them, but it's the renewals year after year that really build their income level.
Right.
And so the only time their customers usually call them is when they have problems, and if they can't get it solved, then they might lose that business.
Right.
So a lot of contractors, and even as a public adjuster, I'm reaching out to all my insurance agent contacts. I'm creating news saying, hey, this is how I can help you, because I don't want you to lose these renewals. If you let me speak to your customers when they call in, I might be able to give them a solution right then, or actually, take them on as a public adjuster and help them out that way. So it's just kind of, and that's how I've always approached the referral business, and I've been pretty good at it. But I've really kind of rethought my strategy on it over this past year. So I've kind of changed it up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're running up on our time. Yeah. So if people want to find you, where do they go? You
can go to bravuraclaims.com.
Okay.
Yeah. That's BRAV as in victory, because we're going to win. URAclaims.com.
All right. Well, thanks for being my first repeat guest.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.